NASCAR wants these drivers to be successful. That's why they started their Drive for Diversity program.
Well, most of the drivers agree the first true test of the new tires will come this week in Las Vegas, and it might be up to 10 more weeks before they find out if the tire change really makes a difference.
What can the fresh-faced kid from Georgia offer a team that's made up of drivers that already have Indy 500s and IRL championships under their belt?
And that was kind of crazy at the end. Talk about what you saw.
What it takes to get into racing is money. Money talks.
Right.
And to be real honest, a lot of minority investors are putting their money elsewhere.
I hit the most balls I've ever hit in my life bowling. He bowls a strike. Today we saw not one, but 2 cars get airborne. And oh, by the way, Jimmie Johnson extended his points lead.
Last time any of us in this part of the country saw you, you were running across the start-finish line a la Ricky Bobby.
The Atlanta Motor Speedway has a reputation of being a fast track with few cautions and drama at the end. You think Vanderbilt University sports, you think great baseball team, great golfers, pretty good basketball teams, right? But I bet you never thought Vanderbilt and NASCAR. That is before Travis Geisler.
Travis Geisler's dream started with a love of racing.
To have the experience growing up racing, my dad still races 3 nights a week at a local level. To grow up doing that, it kind of gets in your blood.
And then a chance at the big time.
I've run 13 nationwide races in my career as a driver.
But when sponsorship money began to dry up in 2005, Geisler went from turning laps to turning wrenches at Penske Racing. And at the end of the 2008 season, he was tapped to be the crew chief of the number 77 car, driven by Sam Hornish Jr.
We've got a lot of young guys on our team, myself included, Sam, everybody, and we just need a little bit of time to gel, and I think we're starting to see that.
A degree from Vanderbilt University in mechanical engineering has helped Geisler understand the big thundering stock cars in ways others in the garage area do not.
I can kind of understand more of the specifics of what goes on here.
And his experience on the track is helping his driver Sam Hornish Jr. understand the difference between Indy cars and NASCAR.
Travis has a lot of the same experiences with running a lot of these tracks that I've ran.
As he's transitioning from IRL to NASCAR world and how he speaks, I think I might be able to help that along.
While Geisler has the advantage of being both a former driver and an engineer, he has the disadvantage of being one of the youngest crew chiefs in the garage area.
There's that little bit of learning and getting to the point where you feel comfortable making those decisions, and seeing how he's matured as a crew chief has been great.
So far, the results have been mixed for Geisler and the number 77 team. They are currently 29th in the point standings.
The rounds of merchandise that we distribute are mainly your die-cast cars. Then after that, then you go into the apparel. You'll have any number of different trinkets such as keychains, can coulis. They'll make a replica hood that'll usually be a quarter scale to the real hood on the car. You do a lot of bobblehead type stuff. There's also a crystal line that we do. Anything and everything you can think of that you can put a number on in a paint scheme. And if it can be licensed, it will be licensed.
Basically, if they build it, someone's gonna buy it. NASCAR merchandising is a $1 billion a year business, and it's growing.
In the 80s, as NASCAR was growing, there really wasn't a souvenir business. Nobody was producing this stuff. So as that transitioning came along, then the business picked up.
Music City Motorsports started as a trading card distribution company. But as the car business slipped in popularity, Music City Motorsports switched its business to racing merchandise.
Our main core business is the small NASCAR dealer retailer that's out there. If you're driving down the street anywhere in, corporate or in America, period, you'll see little stores that'll say like Joe Bob's NASCAR Collectibles. That's kind of the guy that we hit.
The business grew slowly at first, and then February 18, 2001.
Oh, big trouble. Big wreck behind them.
The death of Dale Earnhardt Sr. That day changed the racing world forever, and it also changed the collectible world.
The day after, on the Monday, we checked our internet hits. We had had over 7 million hits in that night just for Dale Earnhardt merchandise. And the market pretty much took a dramatic peak at that point. We were up 49% in sales for the year. So it was an additional $5 to $6 million in revenue.
These days, it's Lee that dominates their business.
About 75% is Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Drivers like Jimmie Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Ryan Newman, and Tony Stewart make up another 20% of their business. all others about 5%. And as drivers come and go, the business will continue to evolve.
You hope that the young guns are coming up, you know, the Jimmy Johnsons, the Casey Mears, the Brian Vickers, the Casey Canes, the young guys. You hope that they will replace some of that business. I would think that the Jimmy Johnsons, the Gordons, I think that they'll be around for quite some time.
When cars are running within an inch of each other at more than 190 miles per hour, one move can mean the difference between this and this.
There's so much going on, you know, right around you that can determine whether or not you get in a wreck or whether or not you win the race. You can't see all of it.
Which is why drivers depend so much on their spotters, especially at a place like Talladega.
4 wide, 2 outside, clear low, clear low.
The massive, sprawling 2.66-mile track in Alabama, where 4-wide high-speed racing is the rule, not the exception.
Halfback 99, halfback 78.
But here you're constantly on the radio. You're in 3 wide packs, normally around the whole racetrack.
2 wide, 2 wide, 2 wide.
But spotters like Chris Lambert are more than just a driver's eye in the sky. They're also trackside politicians working deals on behalf of their driver with other spotters.
It's pretty funny. I mean, we'll be running back and forth, trying to make deals, and you'll make a deal, and then when it's time to make the deal go, they won't happen. So, I mean, it's pretty interesting.
Another place where team communication is critical is pit road, and it's driving down here where the crew chief becomes like a second spotter.
The spotter still pretty much handles that until he's like 10 stalls away from me.
3, 2, right here.
Then I can pick them up and try to help them if there's other cars already in the box.
Coming around you right now. 1 lane, 1 lane, 1 lane, 1 lane.
The communication, the relationship is very key to the spotter and the crew chief and the chemistry there. You know, the chemistry builds communication, and you just got to have that connection.
It's a relationship that drivers like Vickers depend on in order to make the right moves on the track. Still, at the end of the day, the ultimate pressure is on the driver to put his car in a position to win.
The spotter's not driving the car. It's still up to the driver to make the decision, but you want him to paint the picture for you.
3 wide behind you, 3 wide behind you.
From the Talladega Superspeedway, Heather Williams, News Channel 9 Sports.
Jimmy Johnson may be the 3-time defending Sprint Cup champion, but these days he's flying pretty low on the radar of Hendrick Motorsports drivers. Between Jeff Gordon's back trouble, Mark Martin's resurgence, and the Dale Jr. crew chief shuffle, no one's really talking about JJ. It didn't take long for Johnson to get people's attention today. Lap 50, JJ goes outside of Greg Biffle for the lead. Lap 231, trouble for Denny Hamlin. He's running second when he blows a right front tire and tags the wall. Ouch. Lap 344, and a tough weekend for Kyle Busch gets much worse. He led the most laps in the Nationwide and Truck Series race without winning, and he didn't win the Cup race either. He had to make an unscheduled pit stop for a vibration. A debris caution late in the race means it's time for pit stops. Biffle, Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman come out 1, 2, and 3. They took just 2 tires. Whereas Jimmy, there he is. He's 9th, but he would still have plenty of time to run down everyone else. 2 laps to go, he seals the deal, passing Tony Stewart to retake the lead. Johnson leads a dominating 298 laps to pick up his 2nd win of the season. Tony Stewart finishes 2nd and takes over the points lead. Greg Biffle, Matt Kenseth, and Kurt Busch round out the top 5.
I was able to luckily catch the 16 when the 14 was passing him, and that allowed me enough time to set Tony up and really work on that last little bit to find my line and perfect it to get by Tony.
By the way, Junior finished 12th in his first race with Lance McGrew as his crew chief. More on Junior and many other NASCAR topics